In terms of just self-scouting, the first 8 games of the season, what have been your big takeaways from the safety group as a whole?
You know, I think it's just one of those things that we've had to grind through injuries and certain situations and changes and so forth. And I think the guys have done a great job of finding ways to get through it and being productive and just getting things done the way we want it done. And they kind of put it on themselves to do it and hold each other accountable, and they've done a great job of that.
How much of a challenge has it been, because you pretty much had Malcolm and Rodney locked in, and so now you've had to have rotation there. Corey's been injured, Avonte's had to step up there. So how has it been working from that aspect?
I think I always told you guys it's really simple when you got Malcolm and Rodney in your room, because they make it real easy. They know the game, they know what they're supposed to do, they know how to relate to different situations. Then when you go to the younger guys, it gets a little more difficult. A little bit more teaching, but it's been fun on my side because I can help a young guy like Avonte grow and kind of take him from a position he hasn't played and hopefully make him a reliable guy there where he can go out and execute and make plays at that position.
Take us through the scouting aspect when you're looking at him before the draft, because you see the traits that could make him successful, but what does it take to take those traits and actually translate them into success on the field?
Well, I mean, it was pretty easy watching him. You watch him on tape, he stands out. He is a really, really good football player, and I think that's the start of it right there. If you're going to be successful at the next level, you could see that he loves the game, he plays hard, he's got a natural instinct to him. And then as far as just getting the traits out of him, he's got the natural speed, he's got the quickness. It's just a matter of, okay, let's get him in the right place, putting his eyes in the right place, and then making his reads from a different position on the field.
You make it sound so easy, but but not everyone can transition from corner to a safety and vice versa. So why has it been so successful for him thus far?
No, I'd say most corners can't make that transition. I think he's just so natural in what he does. He's a naturally talented football guy, and his instincts make it easy for him to make that transition. It's not like he's so locked in like, I've got my guy, I can't do anything else. He can see the whole field. Now, it takes reps to do that, and he's a little bit behind the curve because he's missed 200 reps in OTAs and training camp, but I think his progress has been amazing, how fast he's done it.
How critical is it for him to have the play like he had in Jacksonville that helped turn the game around, just to help boost his confidence and to show him that he can thrive in this role in the latter half of the season?
Well, I think it's awesome because it lets him know that, hey, I can play that spot, and that was a big play. And the whole thing is his natural given abilities make it so he is able to make plays. I mean, he's not just out there lining up in a spot and filling a role. He's able to make plays, and he is a playmaker guy. And then the motion and the attitude that comes with it is absolutely awesome to see.
Have you had to transition Malcolm's role at all as a result of Rodney's injury and Avonte taking over?
I don't think. Malcolm's such a leader anyway. I don't think it's been difficult for him. Avonte obviously will have to rely on him a little bit more than Rodney did, but Malcolm does that anyway. It's just natural for him to go out there and communicate and do it with everybody on the field. He's probably a little bit more aware that Avonte's out there instead of Rodney, but I don't think his role's really changed a whole bunch.
Because he can do so many things, and typically has been in this defense.
Well, that's the thing, and you hate to throw any more on top of him because we've already put a lot on Malcolm, so I'd hate to say that we put too much on his shoulders and then he couldn't go play. But I think he's just that type of guy anyway. I mean, that's what he does.
Speaking of turnovers in that game against Jacksonville, overall the takeaways are down for the defense this season. Do you talk to guys about that, or do you not talk to them about it because then they'll start trying to do things that...
Well, I think from the get-go, from OTAs on, you stress the fact that we want to take the ball away, and that's going to help us be successful as a defense. I don't think you can overdo it because guys start reaching outside of the box and trying to make plays that they shouldn't be trying to make, and then it's going to go against you. You're going to give up big plays. I think it's one of those things, if you keep doing the right things, you keep doing your job, those plays will eventually come to you without having to reach for it.
Is there anything that's different this season?
No, I just think they haven't come our way. It's one of those things that...
Playing better quarterback?
I just think sometimes the ball bounces your way. And once it starts coming your way, it continues to go your way. I think if the guys continue to work hard and put themselves in the right position and do their job, play in and play out, those things are going to happen. And hopefully the second half of the season they are, because I think our success, a lot of our success on defense is going to be part of taking the ball away from opponents.
Tim, when you were, before the draft, when you guys were looking at tape,
Yeah.
did you ever look at Avonte and say, hey, that's a safety?
Well, we just talked about that. I don't know if we ever looked at him as a safety, but you put on his tape as a college player, you say, oh my God, this is a really good football player. He's fast, he's physical, he plays with emotion. He's just a good, flat-out football player, and it was fun to watch. So you say, we can do something with this. I don't know if safety ever jumped into our head that that's where he was going to fit, but he's done an unbelievable job of fitting in where we've needed him.
He made two terrific plays in that game, the forced fumble and then that 3rd and 1 earlier. Which one impressed you the most?
Well, I think the 3rd and 1, because he has not played in the box before. Mm-hmm. Now, the nickel position translates a little bit to the safety position, but rarely are you sitting there on a tight end and a fullback and able to come through and make a tackle for loss. And again, I think just his natural-born instincts become a factor in that sense. And he's got the whole skill set where he can be a playmaker. I was just talking about how he's not just filling a spot. He's a guy that has the ability to go out there and flash and make plays, and it's fun to watch. And then he plays with energy and emotion, which also helps us be successful.
When it comes to communication, obviously that's a difficult transition for anybody, somebody who didn't play it. But then you have all the moving parts at corner because of the injuries. How has that affected?
Well, I think Malcolm's a big part of that. He's probably made it easier on Avonte because he doesn't have to make every single call. Now, he's come a million miles from that first day he stepped in there till now, and you hate to overload Malcolm too much with thinking he has to, completely take care of Avonte out there, which he doesn't. It's just Malcolm's natural way of things to kind of lead everybody on the field. So that transition has been fairly smooth. Now, just the whole moving part thing, injuries are going to affect the way you play, and I think our guys in our room have done a very nice job of fitting where they've needed to fit and finding ways to grind through it and have us still have some success.
Now, you mentioned Malcolm. Obviously, he understands basically every position on the team. But he kind of talked to me and said he'll force Avonte to do some things in practice. Have you seen that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it started from day one. It's like, hey, if you're going to progress, you can't get comfortable in a role where I'm always telling you what to do. So he'll actually put him in the box situations where Malcolm would normally be down in the box and Avonte would be in the post, and they'll just switch spots. And it's great for him to see it from that side. And then if he's ever in it, whether it's motion or tight end shift or whatever, he's not out of place when he gets in those situations.
Seems rare for coaches to be gushing this much about a guy's kind of coachability with Avonte.
Yeah.
What's he doing behind the scenes that's just sort of impressed everybody?
He's really made it easy on us, to tell you the truth. He grinds. He wants to be good. He asks all the right questions, and then he goes out on the field and executes. Now, obviously, I talked about this just a minute ago with Chris, that he's missed 200, 300 reps in OTAs and training camp and so forth, but he understands football, and he understands the scheme, which has helped him progress. It was really easy for us when it was just Malcolm and Rodney back there, because you kind of throw the ball out and say, go play. And I said it's kind of been fun for me now that let's help this young man grow and become a complete football player.
Malcolm made a play in that Jacksonville game on play knocked away. I mean, he said he was supposed to be blitzing on that. He notices that you guys are misaligned and says realizes that nobody's covering Westbrook. There aren't a lot of guys smart enough to make that, be aware of that on the run and
yeah, the whole feel for the game. He understood that the corner hadn't been able to get over to the other side of the formation, and really realized that the receiver was uncovered, and he just came out in the blitz. Yeah. And again, just to make a play on that football was a nice play in itself if he was in man-to-man on that, let alone taking somebody else's coverage. And that's what he does for this defense. I mean, he's an extra coach on the field, and that's what he is.
You mentioned things being fun for you, maybe a little bit, with Malcolm and Rodney, obviously veteran players. Now younger players, when Probably not at the time, but when Rasul has to go back and play safety, is that like?
Well, it's a little different mindset because again, Rasul's never played safety yet. I mean, he is a true corner, and because of he's been around a little bit. He understands the defense also, and that's one thing about Rasul that impresses me also. As a corner, he does understand concepts, he understands defense, he knows where guys are supposed to be. Now, it may not be a natural fit, but if need be, you can slide him back there and say, okay, he can at least line up and execute the defense.